So here we're going to initiate with a humongous bomb on the deck. I throw out some marks first and drop wells behind me as I go. I even drop well of power just to get some cleanses on people who may have been lagging behind, as I didn't really need the stun break. I had stab and everything. We have shit tons of downs on the dock. We just put down some massive DPS, but we also had downs of our own going through, so we end up killing some, rallying others. And the fight kind of turns to shit from there, as I believe they got some rallies before we got too many of them dead. So it turns into kind of a retreat fest. We go to make another push, and I just stay in Death Shroud to tank whatever damage I am going to take, even though it did turn out to be lethal amounts of damage. I think it would have been if I had not just tanked that through Death Shroud. So we just retreat into the water and start piecing out from there. Sadly, we had a bunch go down, but you could see that as Squishy, I just hugged way off to the side, so the main bomb was directed at the train, and I was pretty safe off on the outskirts. This fight's kind of unfortunate, just because we get kind of ass jammed, but here on the initial push I hug the left side. As in a choke point, you want to hug a side, usually the opposite of your train, because most of the damage will be directed elsewhere, and most of the damage is directly in the center. So if you hug an outskirt, then you'll be fine pretty much. You see I took almost no damage. I throw a Warhorn 4 back just to interrupt whatever's going on back there, and here's where we get ass jammed. We're going to throw wells on the stairs here just to get as much DPS down as possible. I go into Death Shroud, tank some shit up as I get up the stairs, and I actually get a lot of deeps down throughout the wells and my life transfer, but you know, I just get emob, knocked down, and just knocked down actually, not emobbed, and I'm just killed because we got pushed on and I was left behind. Pretty much kind of gay. I think we would have had that fight and this secondary fight had they been 1-by-1, but we got ass jammed. So for this fight, I was busy regrouping with the group after I had died, and so I had Signet of the Locust on, and I was put into combat, so I wasn't able to change it to Well of Corruption here. I also don't have a target on over Fallen's head, so this becomes extremely rough for me to position myself accordingly. So we get some DPS down just through marks, as well as other AoE pressures aside from my own or my Necros. And here I just try to get a Signet of the Locust heal off on a group, but most of them were blocked or dodged, so I didn't really get anything. I got like a 1500 heal out of it. I just throw some Life Blasts out, and I see that the Ellie swaps over to Magnetic Aura, so I stop Life Blasting that so I don't basically kill myself. I get a Life Transfer off directly in the center of a group, which is really nice DPS in the center. I start firing at an Ellie after I chill it. Sadly, she was in the middle of an Ether Feast, so the chill basically was wasted. But that's not exactly why I was teleporting to her anyway. I was just trying to reposition myself. I throw out pretty much all of my marks as I see a second group incoming, and I want to finish this first group off. They're buffing at the top of the hill as we're finishing the first group off. And to be honest, I kind of tunnel visioned on that down. I really wanted that kill before the second group came in, so I basically had to waste my plague just trying to survive that initial leap on. But at the same time, I ate up pretty much the enemy team's entire bomb minus meteor showers. Like, there were wells dropped on me and everything, so just by plaguing, I ate pretty much everything they had up. Now, I dropped this Will of Power as a preemptive stun break, but it turns out that the Ellie threw his static the other direction, so it didn't actually matter, and I completely wasted my Will of Power. But I tried to get another Signet of the Locust heal off, and it was either interrupted or I got it up and didn't hit anybody, I forget, but basically I'm still at half health regardless. Yeah, I did try to get it. I see it's on cooldown. Here, I think I get this heal off. Yeah, I dodge, what's it called, a staff, Ellie's fire auto attack. You can see it just barely missed me, and then I get my heal off. Here, I've basically got full life force, so I'm trying to go balls to the walls and throw some life blasts out, but I see that a enemy Necro tried to Tainted Shackles me, and I did not want to be immobilized at this low health. I tried to get a life blast off on that thief, and I'm not sure if it hit him because he got stealthed, but it probably track hit him, but he would not have gone down. I think he had about a third health. So I get pulled into the train here, and I end up going down and dying. I either bounced off a line or got pulled in by a Greatsword 5. I don't know what happened, but either way, I could only go for so long without a tag on Fallen, and you can see I literally just called it on him after I had died, just in case somebody else in my party was having that problem, but I doubt it. I think they were all on tag. So that fight was basically really tough, because I didn't have a tag on Fallen, and I didn't have my Will of Corruption. Instead I had Signet of the Locust, so, which isn't necessarily a bad skill, but as it can be a massive heal, but you can see that just because of the situation, I didn't really get any benefit from it at all, and it was just kind of unfortunate. Oh well, into the next fight. Okay, so for this fight, we start getting pushed on by a guild group. I get caught in a static, and that's okay. Basically just had to use my will of power right off the start, and that's fine because we also got Condi bombed and I was able to pull some Condis off. I get a really nice heal off with a bunch of Condis to basically max my HP off, but I get taken half straight away again. I start throwing out some marks, starting with the chill before I throw out my 2, and I basically cycle through all of them. I don't know why I used my fear one. I think honestly just to do something while I waited for Wells, and I also didn't want a Death Shroud yet because I knew I'd have to tank some damage soon. I throw out a Tainted Shackles with my life transfer, and we get some downs off to the side where we were dropping our marks and Wells initially, so maybe someone got caught by a flurry and, you know, just gets ended by the train. I'm not sure how those downs were generated, but it definitely wasn't of my accord. So basically I'm going to try and get the heal off here, and I do, but I'm going to be taking a half again really soon. I've got a Necro behind me, and I decide I want to throw some staff autos at him before I reposition myself over top of down, and I'm going to drop my Wells on this, but we eliminated him with the Wells, but I was kind of hoping that they would push in. Good thing that some of the other Necros dropped the Wells onto their regroup, so they walked out with basically no retail, and we were able to push in and get a shit ton of DPS down. Now, we're going to get a few more kills here very shortly, but at the same time, when we start pushing back towards the towers where it's going to take a turn for the worst for little old me. So we start kind of trying to pull away from the tower area more into an open spot away from their AoEs, but it turns out that they still had meteor showers, so that kind of made us have to rotate even wider. I'm still fine, like I'm still full HP, I'm losing my Death Shroud, I've got a ton of Condis on me, but I'm about to peel them all off with my heal skill. I dropped my Wells behind me because I thought I might go down, but I get the heal off, and now I thought it was pretty much good. I could have Plagued right here, but they leap in on me and get a really nice bounce with a line, and I got caught behind it, and I basically die here. Which is kind of unfortunate. They really turned that fight around, basically with just really good AoE pressure. We went to rotate way too wide, and then they dropped all these AoEs on us when we went to jump in, and that really hurt all of us. Okay, so here we're going to push in, and a static goes off on the main train. I'm off to the side to avoid the static. I start off with a retail, and I don't really hit anybody. I think I just ate up a bunch of Aegises, which is fine by me. That's pretty much the better for us. I had to start off with a Well of Power to get rid of some Condis, as I didn't think I'd get the heal off, but I did. I throw my Wells down behind me to get some ground cover, as well as actually get some huge pressure off. I start a Tainted Shackle, I start just going into the Shroud to eat up someone else's life transfer onto me before I start my own a few seconds later. Sadly, I have weakness on me, so I didn't put out too much damage, but nonetheless, we end up getting this Guardian down. I tried to Dark Path him to chill him, but it didn't end up mattering. We trained him down. I don't think I get this Immobilize off. No, I don't. He gets right out of range. That Ellie does anyway. We start pushing up the hill. I'm still tanking up in Death Shroud, waiting for basically an opportunity to drop Death Shroud so I can get my heal off. And once I hear we're going for a regroup, I drop Death Shroud, get my heal off, get a bunch of AoE heals off, and here's where the fight really goes in our favor. Now we got a really good heal off of that water. I just start dropping some marks down, and then we would drop Wells down on this corner. So we make the hill kind of a choke point thing that you have to come up and around for to reach us, and they basically eat up all our Wells up on that top corner and die. Or have to run away, which was fantastic, basically. I Dark Path over to this NecROMANCEr out on the side and start up a life transfer, and then a Tainted Shackles on the group. Sadly, the River Drake eats up one of my Tainted Shackles, but that's fine, as we end up getting 2 downs, and I start up on this Necro really heavily. I drop the marks behind me by accident, mostly, but at the same time, just to throw AoEs all over the place. It didn't really matter where I placed those, because they wouldn't do too much damage to a single target anyway. And we end up taking the Necro down and the Warrior. That fight was basically just a bomb fest. They bombed us really hard, we bombed them really hard. We just bombed them really hard twice in a row, and so they ended up losing. They didn't get a really good regroup off, so that's that fight. Okay, so this fight's kind of a clusterfuck. I get put in combat right off the start, which kind of pisses me off, but at the same time, at least I got stabbed, so I was able to walk through a static. I start throwing some marks down, and then I dodge to... I actually only saw a Guardian line coming out, so I wanted to dodge the Immobilize, but it turns out I also immobilize a Guardian Greatsword 5, leash, so it turned out to be a really efficient dodge for that first one. I'm standing in a blinding well, so I threw my own well of power down to kind of cancel the blinds out, but I didn't know I would rotate off of it so quickly. I thought I was going to get knocked down on my ass. I noticed that I'm kind of in a sea of red names way off tag, so I start on my way back as I channel a life transfer. I get a good life blast off on a warrior or guardian up in front of me, and then I dark path over to a necro off on the side in order to regain a little bit of positioning about 600 units off to the side. We down an Ellie in front of us, and then we just kind of start trying to cleave it down. I don't think we ended up getting that kill. He missed away. I slipped down the hill. That's fine. I get a life blast off on a thief up against the wall for about 4k. Just under 4k, sorry. We get a regroup off, and I drop Death Shroud just to get that little bit of healing off. We start backing up, and I guess just kind of to recoup, we pick up wins because we're going to need another Ellie. I just daze over top of the our downed Ellie because I knew there was a stomp going off, so I interrupted it, and we ended up downing the thief with cleave. And we just kind of regroup at the bottom of the hill here. We're going to push back up and reinitiate the fight in a second, and if you notice, I pretty much have all cooldowns. I really would have wanted to channel an Axe 2 on that thief there to get more life force, but sadly it wasn't off cooldown yet. I swap into staff, even though I'm going to eat up the cooldown for basically nothing, because I had nothing else to do on Axe Warhorn, so I just went to staff as fast as I could possibly do so. I wanted to get onto the gank over here, as there was an Ellie, a thief, and a Mesmer off on the side, but I had to stay on tag because we were kind of dwindled in numbers at this point, so I would die if I just tried to take them on all of myself. I call for wells once we hit up this hill, so we're going to get to this hill. I start my Warhorn 5 so that when I go into Death Shroud it'll start ticking more and I can keep my life force up, but sadly I didn't get to put my wells down as quickly as I would have wanted to, as they didn't push as quickly as I thought they were going to. So I get a Warhorn 4 interrupt off, which was fine. I don't know what I interrupted. I wasn't trying to interrupt anything, I was just trying to throw it out as I noticed the target I had didn't have stab. So I thought none of them might have stab, and I interrupted 2 things, so whatever works ends up working. I get immobilized and trained down here. I try to tank some through Death Shroud and then Plague afterward, but as soon as it drops, but really there was nothing I could do there. They just trained me down. So for this one, we're basically in the process of buffing up as we're just kind of eyeing each other, and we're going in for the jousting match. I tried to throw in a staff auto attack, but they were a bit too far, so I decided I would wait after I'd cleave through all the bomb. I wanted to start up an Axe 3 there, but I had to dodge roll out of some AoEs. I believe it was a well, so I had to cancel that on myself. I threw out a Warhorn 4 behind me just in case someone didn't have stab. As the backline stayed around very behind, and I saw that they got caught on a line, so I threw out a Warhorn 4 just to see what I could do. Here I went into the little pocket corner to line of sight whatever I possibly could that was coming at us, but I still ate a shit ton of AoE, so I ended up, I think, getting the heal off, and then I go into Plague. We get a shit ton of downs off of the wells and just our cleave damage in general, so it turned out that Plague did some work poisoning downs as well as keeping me safe after they kind of bombed me in that side corner, which really was inconvenient for me because I thought I was going to avoid some damage, but it turns out that I ended up being the focus of a lot of damage. Didn't matter though, because our bombs were extremely potent up on the choke, and yeah, we basically just eliminated everybody. They're coming in for another push now, but they're significantly dwindled in numbers by this point. And though I thought I was completely going to get fucked here, I think I rally. I don't think I get a banner, but is it a banner? No, it's a rally. So basically, as soon as I'm up, I start placing my wells all over the fucking place because there's downs everywhere. And yeah, we just clean up this fight. There was nothing really else to it after that first push. The second push was kind of big because there was lots of people, but for the most part it was all about that first push. We got so much pressure down on them that even after a regroup they had nothing left really to do.